Jordana Barton-Garcia, Jordana, Barton, Barton, hyphen Garcia, Garcia.
And why we're excited about catching up with you today, Jordana, is to learn more about the Rio Grande Valley Broadband Coalition, which you've set up and helped set up with your colleague here at the Council of Government, Manny Cruz. Tell us what that group's about and why it's important.
Yeah, so the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council has been critical to this because it serves a wide part of the RGV. And so it's a way for us, the coalition is charged with making a plan for how we're going to address broadband, from the infrastructure to the digital workforce development, to the telehealth plan for the region, to the small business fund that we started already to help small businesses digitize and have the digital skills building and all of that, digital navigator programs that we've talked about today. How are we going to get all of that funded? And we're preparing for the big grants, from the federal grants from the state that will be coming out next year, and hopefully the BOOT program that's going on right now, if they can expand eligibility. So we're working on these specifics to have a holistic plan for the region, for the whole region. And we're working, with counties and cities, on their feasibility studies and to kind of understand what the challenge is and what the opportunity is, and form partnerships with ISPs, local ISPs that are also on this group. So we're working in all these areas, infrastructure, workforce, and so on, to have a holistic plan and to share it with the State Broadband Development Office. And it's really the substance of the grants that we're going to be putting together. And we're not just waiting, right? There are grants right now. For example, I'm going to a meeting right now to build some of this, right? Or planning grants, like LISC is the entity that gave us the grant to form the coalition, to figure out what we needed to do, how to bring people together, form the first working groups, and those are digital workforce, and now we're about to start the telehealth group. And in meetings like this with the Texas Broadband Development Office, help us to even bring more people to the table. Like, we don't think we're finished with who's at the table. We have amazing partners at the table that represent broad region, right? But we know that we need more people at the table, and that there are all these different working groups, and it's really going to inform the plan for the future of this region, to have it be what you and I have talked about for a while. The people here, the institutions, the history, the people themselves, right? They can create innovation. They can fight, and totally turn around this, persistent poverty region, right? We can be an advanced, very economically developed region with opportunities for upward mobility, and we know that broadband is the foundation, and all the digital skills. It's the foundation for all of these areas, entrepreneurship and healthcare and everything else that we're working towards here. So the coalition is important because it's the way we're coming together, and it's very sophisticated. We're taking all the plans of the different partners and putting them together into one cohesive plan. So it's going to be a fun, puzzle to put together, and a very important one. And that's why it's not just one or two voices, it's the voice of the RGV coming together to develop this plan. So we're going to be drafting it up to prepare it for the State Broadband Office, as well as giving people what they need for grants, and we're already starting to cooperate in different grants, Region 1 and FAR and PSJA and others. So you're surely right about there are lots of other stakeholders that need to have a seat at the table, because there was a show of hands here at this town hall meeting, and there weren't that many representatives from Starr County. Or maybe Willacy and Cameron. It was predominantly Hidalgo, which you would expect, being in the middle of Hidalgo County. But you're looking to reach all the counties. Yes. So we're actually looking at that right now. Cobb Finley and others are looking at the feasibility study, perhaps for FAR and Willacy.
Starr.
And Star
Willacy.
and Willacy, exactly. And so, we're going to try to get everybody on kind of equal footing so that they can make their plans. I'm also going to be working with USDA and the Building Community Workshop that does affordable housing with Come Dream, Come Build in Brownsville, working with some of the colonias in Starr County to get them engaged, right, as we move forward. So we're by no means finished, but it's just a constantly working on engaging more people and making sure as many voices have a real voice, not just come talk at a meeting, but hey, you become part of this plan that become, and only together do we find how to make it efficient and effective and sustainable, right? And all of those things that we want, but ultimately it's people coming together to speak for the public good. Like what will, we don't want corporations to decide. We want what is the public good? How can we create the greatest good for as many people of the RGV as we can? And so
there were, I counted about 100 different stakeholders here today and a number of ISP providers. What you listened to, they all broke up into separate groups to discuss things in more depth. What were the lessons you feel you learned when you heard the feedback?
So I think the knowledge that we have from these different players. So we have some people that are experts in running a municipal government and understanding, we need to understand the best practices of, how do you do this? That's information we can all sit down together and share, right, with communities that have done this before, or, and so that really getting to the details is if it's important about a meeting like this. And then you hear who are our assets too, because even if you don't know the answer, but you know the questions to ask, that's going to make our plan that much better, right? Because we're going to be able to bring the right resources to the table, to know where the gaps are, to follow best practices, because we can't leave, maybe smaller cities behind just because we're focusing on the larger cities, or, so that's why people coming to the table and you just hearing and understanding, wow, they have all this expertise, like the woman with public health in Hidalgo County. I had not met her before, yet she's now going to be on our working group for telehealth and public health, right? And so she's just a huge resource in knowledge of what are the gaps, what do we need to change in the way we're doing things? Why haven't we moved the needle in healthcare and health outcomes in this region? She has a very direct line and a very deep understanding. So if we can hear how she would solve it, wow, we don't have to make anything up. In other words, people at the table and have the experience that we need, and that's what I really learned today. Is I met at least 6 more people who want to join the coalition, but not only do they just want to join, they have this expertise to offer. The gentleman in mental and behavioral health, right? He's going to need to be on the telehealth and the public health coalition. So that in itself is an amazing outcome of this meeting.
Jordana, is there anything else you want to add?
I'd like to invite the people of the RGV to reach out to Manny or myself and I'm sure we can give the email information, right? So that they can be part of this solution, because we're going to solve this time.
We're at an exciting point, aren't we?
Yeah. And we're working very high level on policy, because you always have to, when policy might be being made, but it's out of touch with the local region, right? So how do we do our part to communicate what's wrong and how to make it better, how to make it right, and all of that. So we're working at every level, and it's only because we have each other and each other's expertise.
Jordana, thank you so much for today's interview.
Thank you.